going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday, February 20th, and I got 3 official NBA player props that I've already locked in, and then I got a ton of leans that I'm going to go over in today's video as well. Yesterday, we ended up 4-3 on the straights that we played. Barely profited, like 0.2 units, but I did try to start a ladder challenge yesterday just to do something fun for the Discord, and it chalked because Brandon Miller hooked at 17 points after shooting 5 for 22 and missing a free throw. And I know the 3 losses hurt last night, but one of them was that Brandon Miller loss where he shot terribly. The other one was Devin Booker, who got injured or something. People were saying he had diarrhea and just left the game. And then the one play that I did feel like I kind of forced was Jonas Valanciunas over 7.5 points. He scored all 6 of his points in the fourth quarter, so 6 points in one quarter when we only needed one more basket, and he missed. He shot 3 of 4. So if anything kind of goes our way, if Devin Booker plays, if Brandon Miller makes 2 more shots out of his 22 or just the free throw, and then Jonas Valanciunas scores in any of the other 3 quarters, we're sitting at a 7-0 sweep, plus cashing the ladder challenge. So we were right there, but it definitely stings to see the 4-3 recap. But I'm ready to turn it around today. So let's get right into all the plays for today. So my first official play for today is in the Heat-Hawks game, and I took Davion Mitchell over 6.5 assists at -106 on FanDuel. So Tyler Hero is probable to make his return, and that's basically my whole read here, is that Davion Mitchell's role kind of shifts to more of a true point guard. Look at his assist numbers without Tyler Hero. He's averaging 6.8, but with Tyler Hero, he's averaging almost 8 assists per game. And the only times he went under was when he played 20 minutes. And then this game was also without Andrew Wiggins, without Norman Powell. So if you want to do just make the hit rate look a little better, I included this game because he did still play 32 minutes. And then he's not going to play 38 minutes because RotoWire has him projected to play 27 right here. So if we just cut him off at 31 minutes, when he plays 20 to 31 minutes with Tyler Hero, or if we want to include the 32, he's still averaging almost 9 assists per game. And I know the Hawks have been a little better defensively at limiting assists, but this point total is almost 250 points. And in both games versus the Hawks this season, he played 29 minutes and 28 minutes and had 10 assists on 17 potentials and 7 assists on 11 potentials. Tyler Hero's only projected to play 25 minutes. Obviously his hit rate is amazing. It's 11 out of 11 games because he scored 17 in every single game. But why would this line be so low if he's not going to get up as many shots as he normally would? I know off an injury, he played 29 minutes, took 18 shots. If he does that again, okay, cool. Tyler Hero scored 24 points. But who do you think is really passing him the ball? Because most of the time it's going to be Davion Mitchell. And I think buying low here is perfect because the books are just looking at his last couple games, which given his potentials aren't crazy high. If we need 7 assists, he's going to have to see more than 9, 12 potentials probably. But like I said earlier, versus the Hawks, he got 7 assists on just 11 potentials the first time they played him this season. And a lot of these games were without Tyler Hero. So yeah, my first official play is Davion Mitchell over 6.5 assists. I like this at -106. Tyler Hero doesn't play 30 minutes. That just means more minutes for Davion Mitchell as well. But all right, my second play is now in the Nets Thunder game, and I took Nick Claxton under 22.5 PRA. Now, this isn't super widely available because he is questionable. I know it says doubtful right here, but if we look at RotoWire, he is questionable to play tonight. And if he does play, I absolutely love this line. If he doesn't play, we just get our money back. Looking at RotoWire here, Nick Claxton is projected to play just 25 minutes tonight, and we can even give him a couple more minutes. But the read here is really simple. It's a tough matchup versus the Thunder. He's going to be matched up against Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein. They're allowing the 8th least points, rebounds, and assists to centers on the season. And Nick Claxton isn't projected to play a ton of minutes because he's coming off an ankle sprain or something like that. So if we just look at games when he plays, okay, he's going to see 20 minutes, 22 minutes, that's a given, 23, whatever. But if we bump his minutes down to just sub 30 minutes, he's already gone under 19 out of 29 games. And then if we keep lowering this, the hit rate is just insane. So he's projected to play 25 minutes tonight, and games when he plays 22 to 28 minutes, with or without Cam Thomas, with or without Michael Porter Jr., it doesn't really matter. He's gone under 23 PRA in 15 out of 18 games, averaging less than 18 PRA per game. It's a tough matchup. He could potentially not play a ton of minutes. The Thunder are also favored by almost 20 points in this game, and the total is really low. So I'm expecting, even though the Thunder are pretty banged up, I'm expecting them to blow them out pretty quickly. What is Nick Claxton really playing for right now while being injured? So yeah, my second official play is Nick Claxton under 22.5 PRA. Now my third and final official play as of right now, before we get into the leans, is in the Bucks-Pelicans game, and I took Jeremiah Fears over 12.5 points. You can't get this line anymore. It looks like it's actually being bumped to 14.5 on some books, but I would still take 13.5 at, you can't really get close to even odds anymore, but I'd still take it at minus 115. Even minus 130 is decent, but this 12.5 line was pretty golden because he has finished at 13 5 times this season. But this is probably my favorite read for today. With Trey Murphy doubtful, with Missy also out, and Jose Alvarado is gone, he's traded, Jeremiah Fears is projected to play 31 minutes tonight. So let's just cap his minutes at like 33 because he probably won't play more than that. He's only done it a couple times this entire season. But then let's bump his minutes up to like 24. Hit rate is already insane. 25 out of 34 games. He's gone over 12.5 points. He's averaging 15 points. So that's why I say the 13.5 is still a decent look. And if he does see that close to 30-minute mark, if he sees 28 to 33 minutes, he's gone over in 15 out of 18 games, averaging just over that 15 points per game mark. Even when you look at games with Zion, with Sadiq Bey, with Herb Jones, he's still gone over in 7 out of 8 games, and the one game he didn't go over was when he shot 14% from the field. Now, I know it's not the easiest matchup for him because he does score more than 50% of his points inside the paint, and the Bucks have actually been pretty good at defending the paint. They're allowing the least points in the paint over their last 5 games, top 3 over their last 15. But Miles Turner is out for tonight's game, so the Bucks rim protection should be a little worse, and similar guards that play similarly to Jeremiah Fears, not just by position, have been able to score at least 13 points. All these guys, I know there's a little bit of red, but 22, 18, like 13, 13, 14. None of these guys have scored under 13 points besides Jaden Ivey, and even he was able to score 15 right before that. Just in games without Trey Murphy, since he is doubtful, Jeremiah Fears has scored 16 or more points in 3 out of 4 games, but each one of these games was without one of their like key players. Herb Jones, Zion was out, Sadiq Bey was out in these games. So that's why I kind of am relying more on the minutes, because then I can hop over to Straight Bettin's NBA on and off data. Shout out to him, great website. But if we go to the Pelicans and take Murphy off, Missy off, and Alvarado off, but then we put Sadiq Bey, Derek Queen, and Zion Williamson on because those are the main 3 guys he'll be competing to score with, Jeremiah Fears per 31 minutes is averaging 16.4 points per game. And I know this data might be a little juiced because obviously he's not averaging almost 10 rebounds, but we only need him to score 13, 14 points tonight, which seems very doable in my opinion, as long as he sees the volume I'm expecting him to take while he's on the floor. So my third and final official play as of right now is Jeremiah Fears over 12.5 points. Now, before we get into the leans, guys, I do want to shout out PropsMadness because this is by far the best research tool on the market. Just the amount of filters they have, they're so unique. Like PropsMadness has win-loss margin. You can see the closing line spread, closing line points, game total points, play type analysis. You got all these charts, data across the last 3 seasons. They have their own system to rank similar players by PropsMadness. The list just goes on and on. I'm so grateful to be an affiliate for this company. I genuinely believe in the product they're selling and wouldn't be promoting it to you guys if I didn't. So if you guys do want to find winning NBA props and become a profitable bettor in the most efficient way, make sure you sign up for PropsMadness and use code Nick. I know it's at the top of the screen all video long for 25% off your first month. I would also like to mention that I do have a Winible where you can subscribe for free or for $5 a month to get access to my plays a little earlier as a VIP member. So if you missed out on that Jeremiah Fears line at 12.5 points, now it's at 13.5, potentially getting bumped to 14.5, you would have gotten it sent straight to your phone at 5 in the morning with a direct link that'll bring you straight to the app to tail my play. So you don't even have to do any work. You just let it get sent to your phone, you click the link, you read what I put out. If you think it sounds good, you click this and you lock in the play. And I charge $5 a month so that I am getting something out of putting my time and effort into finding these plays and making these videos and all that stuff. But I also am only charging $5 so that people who can't afford to pay for $20 per month subscription, $50 a month, $99 a month are able to get some value and be a profitable bettor, even though they're not making 100, 200 units. I'm still up 25 units on the season, hopefully get up to 50, maybe 100, and you're just paying $5 a month for that. But yeah, that's enough promoting for me. Let's get into the leans. So I will admit, I have a ton of leans today, and they're going to be sweaty. Starting off in the Jazz Grizzlies game, I was looking at Kyle Filipowski over 22.5 PR. Looks like you can't get this line anymore. I wonder what the injury update was as I was recording this video to bump this line to 23.5. Looks like Lowry was downgraded to questionable, and Norman Powell just said he'll play 33 seconds ago, which is completely fine with me in the Davion Mitchell read. But I like this 22.5 PR. I guess 23.5 PR if you don't have Novig, because Kyle Filipowski's projected to play just under that 30-minute mark. And I know we've cashed his unders a couple times this season, but a lot of those games were with like Nurkic healthy as well on top of Lowry, which isn't the case tonight. So if we just cap his minutes to like 32, but let him play 25 minutes, hit rate doesn't look amazing. But a lot of these games, like I said, were with Nurkic. So if we remove those games and just look at games where he plays 25 to 32 minutes without Nurkic, he's gone over 22.5 PR in 6 out of 8 games. That's what he's averaging. But the Grizzlies just don't have a big man. Like Kyle Anderson is their starting center. So if Kyle Filipowski is the biggest guy on the court, he should be able to rack up some rebounds. And I just like his scoring matchup as well. Centers have been feasting versus the Grizzlies for the same reason that Kyle Anderson is their starting center. The game total is insanely high. The spread is close, even though this is probably a tank off. It looks like all the lines just got removed right now. So we'll see what it opens back up at. But if Lowry doesn't play, that 22.5 PR is looking mighty fine. The Cavs-Hornets game, I know Brandon Miller just broke our hearts yesterday, shooting 5 of 22. Because I even said in my video, if Brandon Miller takes 20 shots, it is still possible for him to go under, but I just didn't think it was very likely. But he did, so whatever. Some leans that I had in this game was Jarrett Allen over 4.5 first quarter points, because Donovan Mitchell in a interview said that him and Evan Mobley are kind of like a duo, and then Jarrett Allen and James Harden are kind of like a duo, which makes sense to me because in 4 games with James Harden, Jarrett Allen is averaging almost 8 points per game in the first quarter. And I stayed away from this yesterday versus the Nets because with Evan Mobley, his hit rate is just way worse, averaging under 4 points per game over his last 20 games with Evan Mobley. But things might be different now with James Harden being the facilitator for the Cavs. Him and Jarrett Allen might just click. He took 4 shots and got to the free throw line 3 times as well yesterday. So at almost plus money, you can get it at plus money. And the matchup not being too hard versus the Hornets, who also don't have Diabate, I think he could score 5 first quarter points again. We cashed this a week or so ago at plus like 112. I also do like Donovan Mitchell's points. Like I just feel like this is a Donnie Mitch game. He didn't really have to play much or do much yesterday. And in back-to-backs this season, he's really had to carry his team. Might not be the case with James Harden now, who knows? But that's ultimately why I stayed away from both props, just kind of on the fence about him. I think Kalkbrenner could score 8 points because when he does see the minutes, he's projected to play like 29 minutes again today. He's been able to score 8 more times than he hasn't, but the matchup is pretty tough versus Jarrett Allen, so I stayed away from that as well. But I do really like Ryan Kalkbrenner as a player. Stayed away from the Pacers-Wizards game as a whole. It's just disgusting. Same like I said yesterday. A lot of people I saw were on Trey Johnson's points, but I said in my video that he was only projected to play like 23 minutes, and he only played 19. So if he would have played 23, maybe he would have cashed. I mean, he took 12 shots in 19 minutes, which is insane. He could cash today, but I'm just staying away from this game as a whole. The only other read I had in this game, let's see if the odds moved. The odds jumped up now that Norman Powell said he will play. So I'm glad we locked this in at minus 106. But the only other lean I had in this game was Dyson Daniels over 10.5 points. I know it's a tough matchup, but his volume recently has been insane. 12 shots, 13, 12, 12. Like if he's seeing 9 shots per game, 9, I probably won't take 19. But the hit rate is decent. On the season, the Heat's defense isn't as good as it has been recently, so maybe they fall back into that form. They do play at the fastest pace in the league, which is good for guys like Dyson Daniels, and similar players by position have been able to score around that 13-12 mark. So 10.5 does seem a little low, but it's Dyson Daniels. He's not a scorer. But the total, like I said earlier, is almost 250 points. So someone's going to have to score for the Hawks. And 11 points seems doable. I had a couple leans in the Mavs-Wolves game. First of them being Ant Edwards under 28.5 points. I know he's gone under in both games versus the Mavs this season, and like that's kind of my read here. The Wolves shouldn't have to play super hard. They're 14-point favorites. At home, Ant's only averaging 26 points per game, and when he doesn't have to play 37, 40 minutes a game, he's only averaging 25. The matchup isn't super easy, and other than Stephon Castle having a career night, since the beginning of February, high usage guards not really including Asar Thompson, haven't been able to score damn near 30 points versus the Mavs. Like, do we really think Ant is going to take more than 20 shots tonight? I mean, he could. It's Ant. He's really good, coming off an all-star game MVP. But, like, look at games when he doesn't take 20 shots at home. He's only averaging 22 points per game. So, I don't know. I just feel like 28 is really high. We'll see how this line moves and if I do end up locking it in. I told you guys I have a ton of leans that I do really like, but can also see a way of them for them to go over. Another lean I had in this game was Dante DiVincenzo. I know I've played his under 12.5 points. Looks like this line is too low for me to play an under now, but I did like his 7.5 RA because when he does take less and less shots, what is he doing then? He's assisting the ball and rebounding the ball. And with the addition of Io, I feel like his role now on the Wolves is more of a true point guard role, even though he really isn't one. So that's why I kind of like the rebounds. They're heavily juiced. If he grabs 4 rebounds, he'll need 4 assists, which is also very doable. The Mavs defense has been terrible, and the point total is super high. But what if they blow him out? Like they basically have done in both games versus the Mavs this season. My last read on the Wolves side of the ball was Rudy Gobert over 10.5 points, just because the matchup is super easy. Centers have been feasting versus the Mavs recently. And when the Wolves do tend to blow out the other team they're playing, Rudy Gobert has a pretty big impact in that, averaging 14 points per game when they win by 15 or more. And I didn't really have anything on the Mavs side of the ball. In the Nets Thunder game, a strong lean I had was Isaiah Hartenstein under 11.5 points. Looks like you can't even get this anymore. That's honestly pretty surprising because at the start of this video, I feel like this was at like -130. Under 11.5. I just don't think he plays a ton of minutes. I don't think he takes a ton of shots, but it is a super easy matchup. Jarrett Allen scored 15 in 24 minutes. I do think that's doable for Isaiah Hartenstein, so that's why I stayed away. I do also like his over in assists. Obviously, it's a pretty good look without SGA. He's been able to rack up assists even when he doesn't play very much and the Thunder blow out the opposing team. And based on the spread in the game total, I'm expecting this game to be a very quick blowout. Like I said earlier, OKC's favored by almost 20 points, but the game total is only 212. So I'm guessing this game will be like a 115 to 95 score or something like that. Michael Porter Jr. under 23.5 points was a good look. Can't believe this is at 21.5 as well. I think Jared McCain has a good chance to score tonight too if it is another blowout. His volume's been decent, but I'd feel a lot more comfortable if this was at the 9.5 point, like it was when we cashed versus the Bucks. 12 points is just a little high for me. In the Bucks-Pelicans game, I did like Sadiq Bey over 5.5 rebounds. The odds are insanely juiced now, and we did run this versus the Bucks last game for the exact same reason that similar players have been able to rebound versus the Bucks. Sadiq Bey is a pretty good rebounder. He's projected to play like 35 minutes tonight. Trey Murphy's out, so when he does play without Trey Murphy, he's had 7 and 11 rebounds. Miles Turner's out for the Bucks, and he's not an amazing rebounder, but I could see Sadiq Bey grabbing 6 boards tonight, grabbing 7, maybe even getting a double-double. Same with Zion. Also liked his assists. I kind of like Zion's PRA in general, but stayed away because the matchup is pretty tough, and he scores all of his points in the paint, unlike Jeremiah Fears. I also don't really understand Herb Jones. Like, his line's so low for the amount of minutes he plays. He plays 33, 35 minutes. He's projected to play or something crazy tonight. And without Trey Murphy, I can't believe his lines are as low as they are. Like 15.5 PRA for a guy playing 30 minutes. Similar to that Marcus Smart read we had when Luka and I think LeBron and Austin Reeves were all out. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just LeBron. But he would have to play terrible. He'd have to shoot terrible to not get 16 RA, which obviously he's capable of doing, but I don't understand how. I don't know. On the Bucks side, I think Kevin Porter Jr. could score 20, but he could also score like 12. Same with Ryan Rollins and same with Cam Thomas. So I didn't really know what to do on the Bucks side. I could see AJ Green having a pretty decent game because Cam Thomas does kind of bring that little gravitational pull from defenders, similarly to how Giannis brings. Obviously not on the same scale, but before Cam Thomas joined the team, without Giannis, other than recently, AJ Green wasn't really able to score because defenses weren't just focused on Giannis the whole time. Also think Bobby Portis could have a decent game. Looks like you can still get this at 13.5 on a couple books. He's gone over in 3 out of 3 games without Miles Turner, but this game was without Kevin Porter. This game was without Ryan Rollins, and both these games are with Giannis. So, I mean, just take that information as you will. The Nuggets-Blazers game, this was honestly probably my heaviest lean. I almost locked this in a couple times. but it was Donovan Clingan under 26.5 PRA, which might sound crazy to a lot of you guys because just looking at games without Shaedon Sharpe, he's gone over in 5 out of 8, averaging almost 33 PRA. But just hear me out here because I might still make this an official play. Centers, yes, have been feasting versus the Nuggets, and I know Donovan Clingan is projected to play around the 29-minute mark, so when he does play 25 plus minutes, he's gone over this line more than he hasn't, but a lot of these games were won without Rob Will. So you add in Rob Will, he's gone under in exactly half of his games. Now, also, a lot of these games were without Jrue Holiday, who takes a ton of shots and is also a really good point guard at grabbing rebounds and assisting his teammates. So you look at games with Rob Will, with Jrue Holiday, even when Clingan plays 25 to 37 minutes, he's gone under this PRA line in 9 out of 12 games, averaging 22 PRA. But it gets even better. The games that Donovan Clingan did go over, Deni Avdija was out for those games. So in games with Rob Will, with Jrue Holiday, with Deni Avdija, even when Clingan sees the minutes he's projected to play, he's gone under in all 7 games, averaging 17.4 PRA. Even without Shaedon Sharpe, he's gone under in both games. Now, the only thing that held me off this read was that Shaedon Sharpe is out and that the total is 241 points, and it's supposed to be a close game, and I looked at when the Blazers lose or win by within like 6 points, and Clingan sees minutes. He's gone over this line a good amount of times given similar results where like you put Jrue, you put Rob, and you'll see that number go down. But that's why it was a lean for me. I do think Scoot Henderson does kind of fill in Shaedon Sharpe's role a little bit. Obviously, he's only projected to play like 25 minutes, but he should take a good amount of shots and steal a good amount of usage from Donovan Clingan, or else his line wouldn't be in the double digits, favoring going over 11.5. So I honestly might still lock this in. I was kind of wait to see how the books reacted to it. Looks like there's only a couple books that can still get 26.5. But obviously, this is one of those reads where if it does not go how I plan it to go, but this is one of those reads where if it does not go as planned, I could look really silly and Donovan Clingan could end with 30 PRA, 40 PRA, which could happen. It's part of the game. But I do really like this under here for him. I also liked his under 14.5 PA if you don't want to include the rebounds, because I did forget to mention, I know he went under versus the Nuggets the one time he's played them on Halloween, but he had 15 rebounds. He shot 2 of 8 that game, only took 5 2-pointers, and I don't think he's going to get 3 assists when Jrue Holiday, Deni Avdija are both on the floor, because in games with them, he's only averaging just over 1 assist per game. So at 14.5, this is like almost assuming he's going to get 2-3 assists per game, and then you're taking his 11.5 points line. His 14.5 PA line is, I feel like you're taking his points line at like 12.5, maybe even 13.5 if he does get just 1 assist, which is a little safer to me than including the rebounds, I guess, but the hit rate is better for his PRA, just because even if he does grab 15 rebounds, he still went under 22 PRA in this game. You could have took 21.5 PRA, Clingan grabs 15 rebounds, 99% of the people be like, yeah, he definitely went over that line. But he didn't. So I just feel like there's a lot more ways that this could go under than ways this could go over. But yeah, I yapped for a lean is crazy. Also liked Jokic 3-pointers made. The odds are kind of getting juice now, so if I do want to lock this in, I'd have to do it now. But the matchup is versus Clingan. I know he only took 3 threes in this game, but he took 6 yesterday and shot over 6. And I do think on back-to-backs, Jokic does kind of get a little lazier and just kind of pick and pops, because he's gone over 2 made 3-pointers in 5 out of 7 games, averaging almost 3 made per game. And he's averaging about 5 to 6 3-point attempts across these games. So if we just look at games when he takes at least 3 3-point attempts, gone over in almost 70% of games. When he takes 4, same thing, 5. Like it just obviously it'll get better the more threes he takes, but Jokic is pretty efficient as a 3-point shooter. So even if he takes like 3 to 4 shots, he's gone over in 5 out of 9 games, make it 2 out of 4. So I think it's a decent look. In the Clippers-Lakers game, I haven't locked anything in for this game yet, but I honestly do like Kawhi's points at 26.5. It's a mid matchup for him, but at home, Battle of LA, I know he only scored 24 points versus them last time, but his volume has been there, and in back-to-backs, he's been able to score even though he's kind of getting old. Benedict Mathurin just carried them to a win versus Denver yesterday, and so I do kind of think it's Kawhi's turn. I don't think Benedict Mathurin will drop 30, but I also did like Brook Lopez's 3-pointers. He's gone over in both games versus the Lakers this season, even though he only played 15 minutes and 25 minutes. He's projected to play like around the 28 mark, but if he does take 4 to 6 3-point attempts, I could see him making 2. What else does Brook Lopez do? On the Lakers side of the ball, obviously it doesn't take a genius to say Luka could just destroy the Clippers because of the beef he has with them over his entire career. But I was looking at Austin Reeves under 2.5 3-pointers made. Now, this would be a risky one, but since he's come back from injury, he's only taken 5 threes, 8 threes, which is good, but then 2, 5, 3, and that's it. And even before that, just looking at his last 10 games, he hasn't taken more than 8 3-point attempts, even last 10 games with Luka and with LeBron. I know he's probably like fully healthy now. He's projected to play around the 32-minute mark, but this was crazy to me. When I looked at games when Austin Reeves has taken less than 8 3-point attempts, because that's what I set his ceiling at based on his recent performances. He's made less than 3 threes in 16 out of 22 games. And then if you just bump this down, because like I said, his recent volume has been crazy from deep. You bump this down to like 6 3-pointers made. He hasn't shot 50% from 3 all season long. So obviously it's Austin Reeves. He could go crazy. He could hit like 7 threes. But if he's not taking a crazy amount of volume, he probably will not make 3 3-pointers. But yeah, that's all I got for leans today, guys. Any plays that I do make official, I will announce in the Discord, so make sure you guys do check that out and join using the link in the description. But yeah, that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment literally anything down below. Comment the plays you're running, why you didn't like the plays or why you liked them. Tell me how your day is going. Last video, at the end of my video, I said if anybody were to comment VIP, I'd give them free VIP for a month, but nobody did. So I'll do the same thing for this video. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. See ya tomorrow, hopefully. Peace out.